Hello, it was on this day in 1887 that Anne Sullivan first met Helen Keller. Transforming moment for both of them. Anne Sullivan had been suffering from trachoma as a child, but it had been healed, so she knew what blindness was like and had been to the well-known school in America, the Perkins School for the Blind, and had become quite well educated and could see most things. But for Helen Keller, who on that day was only about 7, she'd had a very different experience of being blind because she was also deaf and dumb, and so communicating was almost impossible. She was a very easily frustrated child, flew into rages, and very clearly very unhappy. And her parents had brought in Anne Sullivan, who'd been recommended to them to help her to learn to do at least some kind of level of communication. And this took a lot of patience from Anne Sullivan, but Anne, who'd learnt to spell words out on the palm when she herself had been blind, started doing this with Helen Keller, which for a while didn't do much until Anne Sullivan spelt out the word water and then poured some water onto Helen's hand, and immediately Helen grasped what a word was. She hadn't realised up to that point, and began to hunger to learn the words for things. And she knew about 100 words within a week of this discovery. And gradually her love of words grew and grew. Eventually she learned to speak. Her teacher would hold a thumb on the larynx, index finger on the lower lip, and the rest of the fingers on the cheekbone or on the nose, and so so Helen Keller's hand on Anne Sullivan's face would enable her to know what vibrations went with what letters and what words. And eventually she learned to speak and became a well-known speaker and indeed writer of poetry. Anne Sullivan says that one of the things that revealed to her that she'd really achieved what she wanted is when Helen Keller began talking to herself. She enjoyed talking to other people as she learnt to communicate in that way. But Anne Sullivan said to learn to talk to yourself is a sign that you really have understood how important words are and how important the ability to think in words is for our human development and understanding. And I just wanted today to celebrate the way in which words can communicate what we want to say and how we're feeling, and there's enormous nuances in different words meaning different things, very often very slight differences but important differences that we can communicate to each other through the use of words, and the ability that we have to think things through, to speak to ourselves, so to speak, in our heads, is the way in which most of us work things out for ourselves and explore our own feelings and have our own ideas. And I think it's just wonderful that we can do that, and to celebrate the joy that a lot of us get, we all get really, from being able to think things through, have our own ideas and communicate sensitively and accurately with other people.